Hello everyone, Dr. Kris Arnold here from Live Well Chiropractic. How many of you have suffered from thyroid issues, menopause issues? How many of you are really struggling with, having these issues, but really a doctor not understanding you? Last evening we had a really wonderful, powerful presentation on all those subjects, and we had about 40 people in the room, and person after person came up and talked to me and said, but I have these symptoms and the blood work says everything's fine, or my doctor says I should be okay, but I don't feel fine. I don't feel good. My hair's still falling and I still feel tired. I still feel weak. I still have hot flashes. I have these infertility issues. Whatever the hormone problem is I kept hearing time and time again that people are still suffering with some of these issues. The truth doesn't lie in a piece of paper or a piece of testing done, or at least not the right ones that they're doing. So I want to share with you, and I want to give you just a brief synopsis of what we covered last evening for the people who didn't come, so we can actually teach you how we help people. We're a clinic of actually a holistic clinic. We actually have 3 chiropractors on staff. We also have a naturopath, Dr. Heather Black, that works with a lot of our nutritional consultations one-on-one. And we want to kind of teach you and walk you through what is actually going on with your body, why are you actually still having maybe some of these symptoms, and what are the things we can actually do to actually get you healthy. What are the things we see in our patients all the time to actually help them. So we're going to cover this roadmap to hormone happiness. So we know there's all kinds of, we live in a time in a world that hormone issues are rampant. It's more and more every day we see more and more hormone issues. There was just an article about 6 months ago that said by the year 2050, over half the population will be infertile, right? If that's not a big mind-blowing thing, it should wake people up. We know thyroid issues affect millions of people. We know a lot of the thyroid issues are misdiagnosed. And we know breast cancer is more rampant than it ever has been. We're not winning the war on cancer. We see more and more breast cancer issues coming, and breast cancer comes back to what is a hormone issue. So these are all just common side effects for a lot of hormone things that show up. And hormones can be a wide variety of underlying causes that people don't understand. So whether it's sleep issues, whether it's digestive issues, whether you just feel fatigued, tired. Some people can't go to sleep. They're so tired they can't go to sleep. There's a specific hormone issue that's addressing that. Whether it's sugar cravings, salt cravings, those are so there's again a hormonal imbalance. Or one of my favorite ones is anxiety, depression, or the axe in the husband's head shows that there's again a hormone issue. Yes, how many of you women have ever wanted to again kill your husband? So it might not have been something he did, it might have just been a hormone issue imbalance. So what can we actually do to solve this? So before we talk to you about the solutions that we do every day in our office here, is I want to kind of have you understand that we need to look at the body in an entirely different way. Again, another research article that just came out in a local paper was by a researcher in the medical community that says his vision or his idea of what the current medical system is like playing whack-a-mole. You have a symptom or problem and we beat it down with a drug or surgery. We have another one that comes up, we beat that one. We keep chasing all these symptoms around, but we never really understand what's the true underlying issue. That's where a lot of people miss it. And what a lot of people and what a lot of the doctors are missing is this whole concept of how everything is tied in together. We use the analogy of a Swiss watch. If you ever took the back off of a watch and you see all these different gears going on, we know those gears all have to work together to make the watch function. If you take a big gear out, or if you take even the smallest gear out, we know it's going to stop how that entire watch functions and works. Same thing with our body. Our bodies are made to work together. Our brain is supposed to talk to our stomach is supposed to feed our heart's supposed to circulate to our muscles, and our muscles are supposed to move our body, and our immune system is supposed to keep us healthy and protect the gut and the digestive system, the rest of the things. And our thyroid is supposed to help out with metabolism and the digestive system. So you kind of see all these parts have to work together and have to come together. But unfortunately, when we have all these specialists, medical specialists, what they want to do is they want to cover up just all the other problems except their one little cog. And they want to say, well, I'm only a specialist in this one cog. Well, a lot of people are given drugs or surgeries for to help maybe one area, but we know it affects all the other cogs, and what it does, it clogs them up, and it causes this whole entire watch not to work well. So we have to understand the totality of a person's health. We have to understand how it all comes together. Not many doctors do that, and that's what we really thrive and really try to really train ourselves and help our patients really see that perspective. So when we're looking at this big perspective called hormones, we're going to cover a lot of ground on a lot of different things that most people don't put together that might be causing some of these issues. So we talk about firefighters. Doctors and stuff are your firefighters. They go in with big hoses and drugs and surgeries, and they kind of try to put the fire out. But there's wellness doctors like us who are carpenters that repair things. So again, fire, there are advantages of having a medical doctor there hosing everything down. But only thing is there's a lot of collateral. When there's a fire, let's say in your living room, they're going to hose basically the whole house down, and there's going to be a lot of damage. Glad they saved the house, but they didn't really solve all the damage that's left over. So that's where a lot of people go and see medical doctors. They come to us really damaged and broken, and what we need to do is actually start repairing them and building the body up from the inside. That's what we specialize. So again, that Swiss watch principle we talked about, there's lots and lots of different organs, from your brain to your thyroid to your adrenals to your liver is also a thyroid organ or a hormone organ. Most people don't understand that. Your gut and digestive system are tied into that, and obviously your sex organs, whether they're testosterone, testes, and uterus and ovaries, are all play a major factor. But we really want to focus on what we did last night is just about the thyroid. A lot of people have thyroid symptoms but don't understand that maybe it's not a thyroid that's causing the problem. So very common thyroid issues are usually they're very tired, very fatigued. They actually have a little bit of weight gain, can't lose that last extra 10 pounds, maybe can't lose any weight at all. Constipation, hair falling out, those are very common symptoms that you might have a thyroid issue. But the problem is again, doesn't always mean it's thyroid. How many people fall into this trap where you actually see, again, where lab testing is done, but as long as you're on the barely surviving range, the doctor says, oh, everything's fine, right? Or everything lives on a piece of blood work, but that's not where you live at, and that's not where your life is at. So we need to look at better things than that. Most blood work is only done with your thyroid by just your TSH level. That's the gold standard. TSH goes up, you need more meds. It goes down, you're on the decreased meds. That's all they look at, even though most women still complain they have thyroid issues based on that. So let me talk to you quickly about how the thyroid works so you understand how the proper way is to assess the thyroid and how actually the thyroid can be improved on. So one of the things that thyroid is functioning and is supposed to help your body out is actually with body temperature. So if you step out on a crisp cold morning that's like 30 degrees, your body's going to shiver. That's your thyroid actually producing heat and friction to keep your body warm. So how the body does that, your brain perceives I'm cold, right? So it sends signals to your pituitary saying we need more heat in the body. Pituitary will send a signal to your thyroid, and pituitary sends a hormone called TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, to your thyroid. Now that is what doctors measure to determine if your thyroid's working. So the point I want to bring out to this is it's not a true thyroid hormone, it's a pituitary hormone that's talking to your thyroid. Yes, if it goes down, it typically means the thyroid's off balance, but it doesn't always mean that. So the thyroid then gets that signal, says more heat, it produces T3 and T4 as your major thyroid hormones. Then those are then circulated through the rest of your body to start working. Even when those T3 and T4 levels or hormones are produced, that doesn't mean you're always going to be warm now. Your liver has to convert some of the T4 into T3 to make heat. Your gut and digestive system, even your skin is also active in this conversion process. And the higher the T3 goes up in your body, the more you're going to shiver, the more metabolism, the more energy your body's going to burn, the more you are going to warm up in that crisp, cold morning. Same thing happens when you're hot. Usually your TSH levels and your thyroid T3 and T4 will go down to kind of keep you cool. So body's always constantly regulating. So the problem with this comes down to is another problem with thyroid issues is this thing called stress. Most doctors will not tell you but when you are under stress, your body produces a hormone that will shut down your thyroid. So yes, you might have thyroid symptoms, but if you're under a lot of chronic stress or even an acute stress, you're going to have thyroid symptoms, right? How many people has gone through a really stressful life event and their hair starts falling out, right? Why is that? It's because your thyroid's being shut down. Usually after the stress, and hopefully you recover in a couple weeks, your thyroid levels go back up and your hair will regrow. But the problem is, if you're under chronic stress day in and day out or year after year, the thyroid will start getting shut down further and further and further. So the last thing we want to do is just work on the symptom, which is the thyroid. We actually got to start addressing the stress that your body's going through. We have lots of good, helpful things in our office that we do for patients to overcome stress, but we have ways to identify if that's really truly going on. But most doctors, again, will never look at that or never ask about that. The other big important thing we have to understand with thyroid is a major 80% of thyroid issues are called a Hashimoto's type of thyroid problem. Hashimoto's is an autoimmune type of thyroid problem. What does that mean? It basically means your own immune system is attacking and destroying your thyroid gland. So it's eating it up, it's gobbling it up, and your thyroid production is going to continue to get down, and you're going to have thyroid symptoms. The problem with this is doctors want to just measure your TSH levels and just say, hey, we need to give you more synthetic thyroid hormone or Synthroid, and not really addressing the underlying autoimmune issue, and the problem just only continues to get worse. These are the patients we see that's on 5 milligrams, in a couple years 10 milligrams, in a couple years 20 milligrams, because they're not addressing the Hashimoto's or the autoimmune issue underneath. What you need to do is, it's not a thyroid problem now, it's an autoimmune issue. We need to work with your immune system to balance it so it's not attacking and destroying your body. A whole different beast needs to be dealt with and actually work with in a whole different way. And we have ways to determine that. Why is the Hashimoto's 80% of the time the cause of the problem, but most of the time it's missed because most doctors don't want to test for it? There is simple, easy, accurate blood tests that have been around for 50 years that can be done, but doctors refuse to look at it because they don't want to treat something different, because there's really no drugs for autoimmune issues, but they do have drugs to treat thyroid symptoms, and that's what they want to do. So here in our office is we have the ability not to draw blood work, but actually order the right blood work, that we can get you to a lab center and actually get you the right lab test. We actually have it listed over here, what we call a complete thyroid panel, that's looking for TSH levels, your T3, T4. We actually want to see the hormones your thyroid should be producing. We also want to see, is it a Hashimoto's? That's where the antibody test comes in. And we also want to look at your vitamin D levels, because that also plays a major role in your health and actually how your thyroid hormones work. Add vitamin D to your T3 and T4, the effectiveness of your thyroid hormones go way up in your body. If you don't get enough vitamin D, the effectiveness goes way down. So vitamin D is essential when we're talking about thyroid hormones. And again, we have the ability in our office to actually test that. So if you call and contact our office, we can get you the lab work that we would determine what it is that's going on. If it's not a Hashimoto's, then there's very simple things that we can do. Last evening, we were helping people with iodine. Usually it's just a lack of iodine. You can do a quick test where you actually put iodine on your skin, where you can see how long it lasts in your skin. If you put an iodine patch test, it should go about 18 hours. Without it getting completely going away. If it does, it means you have plenty of iodine. If it goes away, and one person last evening, you can actually see it within minutes, it completely disappeared. That shows she's really lacking iodine. So if you don't have enough iodine, your body cannot produce your thyroid hormones. It's essential. And a lot of iodine is very hard to get in our diet, so that's why it's very important to supplement. So the other thing we also talked about is some of the case studies. We've seen lots and helped a lot of people with a lot of thyroid issues. Here was a 13-year-old girl, Eliana, that came to our office. She had been seeing me for many years, started to go through puberty, and we realized she was fatigued. She wasn't even going out and play. She had a lot of constipation issues, and I kind of had an inkling there might have been some thyroid issues going on. We did the blood work, and it did come back, yes, she had Hashimoto's. How do we see that? Is because these antibodies were showing up over here with her. We started working on it within about almost less than a month. She had the energy back, her constipation was gone, and she was feeling great and normal, and she was doing really well. The problem came into is where she unfortunately had to move away. She moved from Pennsylvania down to Virginia, a couple hours away from us. They still come in and see us about once or twice a year, but wasn't as regular. She got off her routine, got off her supplements, started to drink some dairy, got into some gluten and stuff, which before she was away from. Her autoimmune issue came back. Mom called me and said, hey, all of the markers are way back up. What do we do? Well, you need to get back on the supplements. You need to get back on the dietary thing. She contacted me within weeks of doing that. All of her symptoms again had gone back down. So if you just know what is going on and the blood tests were essential for her, we can actually give her the right treatment that her body really needs. So thyroid is a very confusing thing because every underlying issue is completely different, but they all have the same symptoms on the outside. So if you're going by symptoms and purely TSH levels, then you're going to miss the boat. And that's why a lot of people are on drugs or on supplements or taking iodine themselves and are still having a lot of problems because they don't know what the underlying issue is. So contact us if you have thyroid issues so we can help you out, get the blood testing that's right for you, so it can help you out. So the other topic that we talked is really in the top of a lot of hormone issues is menopause. We see lots and lots of women with a lot of menopause issues. The first question is when should a person or when should a woman go through menopause? Most people want to stay in their 50s. The answer is 62. 62 is really when your body physiology start to change. The question is, if you go through menopause early, it shows that there was probably an underlying hormonal issue in the first place. It's the women who start in their late 30s, early 40s, and even late 40s and stuff. I always ask the question is, what was your hormonal cycle when you were in your 20s and 30s? And all of them say, oh, it was all chaotic. Well, yeah, if it was out of balance then, when your body goes through a normal transition called menopause, you don't think that's also going to cause already something that's already steered to the left, even cause more problems? And the answer is yes. So if you don't correct underlying hormone issues at the very beginning, when you go through menopause, it's only going to be worse. So if your body's functioning well, hormone levels are working well, everything else, again, that gears are all working together in your body, menopause should be not an easy thing, but it should be an easier transition. You shouldn't have to have, night sweats for years on end. We see people, 5-10 years having night sweats. We see hot flashes, 5 or 6 times, during the day and 10 times during the night. That's where your body's struggling. It should not be that way. So understanding menopause, here was a lady that we helped out with, a 47-year-old school teacher that not had a cycle in 4 years. She thought she was menopausal in her late 40s. She actually did a whole body detox, and when she completed that detox, she actually started cycling again. What did that show her? Her body was too toxic to actually have normal hormones in her body. Just a quick, simple detox really did the job for her. We also know estrogen is usually the cause of most hormonal issues. This is a list that goes through and shows you really where a lot of estrogen comes from. A lot of it comes from our environment. Our food sources are full of estrogen. Soy products, stress will also cause extra estrogen in our system, and that will cause a lot of imbalances. Here was one of our past employees that worked in our office that was 58, a little bit older, going through menopause. And basically her simple thing was she needed a little more iodine. We gave her iodine, and all of a sudden her night sweats, her hot flashes went away. That thyroid uterus ovary connection was kind of off balance. She just wasn't having enough thyroid hormone produced, and it basically helped her out, and she has great sleep ever since. So what I want to do is share with you some of the secrets that we share with our patients and walk away things, even if you can't come to our office, that you can maybe benefit. So how do we actually get to have better hormones? So this is kind of our rule of thumb. Number one is insulin. Blood sugar is probably one of the worst things for your overall hormones. So if you can get rid of or eliminate a lot of the carbohydrates, you can actually increase your vegetable content. Is going to go miles to correct a lot of hormone issues. I can't tell how many women we just said eat more greens and the hormones improved. Yes, it can be something that simple. It doesn't happen with everyone, but it definitely makes an improvement. So we have different things. We have detox programs that we put people through. We also have a Menolite program, which is an intensive care, intensive dietary program where we see amazing results with a lot of hormone issues. We also talk about regular stress reduction. Stress also will cause a lot of your hormones to be off balance. So whether it's adjustments, we know chiropractic adjustments help out with that. Whether it's yoga, stretching, doing something you really love and enjoy on a regular basis is very, very important. And also be very careful what you put in your body. We talk chemicals versus nutrients. What are you really doing? If you are putting all kinds of fast food stuff in your body, pre-prepared food, we know that's not going to be good for you, versus healthy fats, healthy vegetables is huge. We also talked about xenobiotics, or xenoestrogens. Xenoestrogens are estrogen-like chemicals that are in our environment, and when they get into our bodies, they cause the same receptors or same cells to actually feel like there's actually extra estrogen in our bodies, and it causes an overabundance of production of estrogen-like symptoms in our body. Some of the biggest ones are cosmetics. Women, yes. The things you put on your face and your lips. Your lipstick contains typical lipstick contains over 50 different hormones or hormone-like compounds that causes problems and stuff. So lipstick, hair care products and stuff, all those things are huge. Again, this is the slide that shows estrogen causes stimulation of certain cells for them to produce chemicals look just like estrogen in our body, the xenoestrogens, and they will cause the cells to do the same thing. So again, lots of things come from farm animals that were given hormones to grow, from microwaving things to plastic bottles to fire retardants, all kinds of chemicals, especially chemical cleaning products, smells, fragrances, right? Fragrances have lots of perfume in it, and they also have a lot of things that stimulate estrogen in your body. So you want to be as clean with those as possible. The other thing you can do is also eat certain foods, whether it would be berries, citrus peels, cruciferous vegetables. Those are your kale, your Brussels sprouts, your broccoli, cauliflower, all those good vegetables that actually your dark green ones, kale, that really help cleanse your body, whether it be melatonin, and also iodine also is a very good detoxer of your body. Some of the other steps we do, we talked about vitamin D levels. Please have your vitamin D levels tested. It should be around 70 or above is optimal levels. I know now they say anything's about 30 is okay. Believe me, we see people all the time. They're in the 30 range, we get them about 70, and they feel amazingly different. Vitamin D will help your estrogen and progesterone levels work better, and also your thyroid hormone. It also helps you feel good, sunny, boost your immune system. Vitamin D is just essential, people. You know, we need to wake up. We don't get enough vitamin D. We're sun phobic. It's a very important thing. Vitamin B6, if you get whole B6 from plant sources, then basically it'll also help out your liver, which also helps out a lot of your other hormone. We also know magnesium. A lot of women are deficient in magnesium. Men are also deficient in magnesium. Magnesium helps a lot of other hormones work better. We also list a lot of herbs on here that we use on a regular basis for a lot of women, whether it be ashwagandha, chaste tree, ginseng, romani we use for a lot of stress issues, for a lot of thyroid, the Hashimoto's. We use a lot of romani, get some great results. Simplex F is also one we use for a lot of hormone issues. It really helps rebalance a lot of hormone functions. It supports the brain and thyroid, also does your adrenals, uterus, and ovaries. So it's a wonderful product, very, very good. We also know chiropractic wise, we know the nervous system is really what controls how all these parts work. How's the thyroid know with the adrenals or uterus, ovary, and your brain is working? It's the nervous system that brings it together. We have very specific adjustments that we do with our patients that have hormone issues that really make a lot of difference. So whether it be infertility, whether it be for hormone irregularity, we hear all the time people's cycles will normalize. Hormone levels balance out. Thyroid does better just with the adjustments, but you have to be looking at those things and understand what area of your body controls those and what areas we need to look at to adjust, and that's what we specialize in do. So what do we do after all this information? How do you specifically take action? So changing some of the dietary things that we kind of laid out, go back and review those and understand what we can actually do to help you, or how you can help yourself by eating better and cleaner and fresher and getting rid of toxins in your body and in your environment. While also a whole body detox, I can't tell you how important that is for someone who has hormonal issues. Works great. We also have the MetaLife program where it's really intensive care. We work with you in one or in a couple groups to actually get your nutrition level back on track. Or the best thing to do is actually get a nutritional evaluation by Dr. Heather, a naturopath, where she can sit down with you knee-to-knee, one-on-one, and figure out what's going on. If you need blood work, she can actually order that blood work for you and actually have it done and interpreted for you. and then get you on the right products and stuff and understand what's going on. If it's if it's a hormone issue, or if it's an autoimmune issue with your immune system, or whether it's a stress issue, or whether it's a digestive issue, it can be very confusing. We want to be able to clarify for that and give you the help that you need. So how can you get help with that? Is give our office a call here at 814-624-0606. You want to hit option 2 to speak directly to Dr. Heather to get a nutritional evaluation set up, or you can actually email her at drheather@live-well-cairo.com. So hopefully you found this information stimulating. Hopefully you got some information you can take home and make practical. Please pass this on. Give me some thumbs and likes up if you like this information and want more of this. This is information we can help you out with, because I know not everyone can get to our class. And like I said, last night we actually had a room full of people. So how can we help you out? I want to kind of go from one to many. So give me feedback if you enjoy this. Pass it on if you can. And hopefully stay tuned. We're going to have some more great programs for you to get you really healthy and well.